Okay, now, we have just talked about Lauren Clark. This is Lauren Clark. So, now she's doing something, not in Great Britain, but look at the children, African children. So, she's not in the UK, she's not in Great Britain, she's in Africa. So, we talked in the text that Lauren Clark is in Ghana for 6 months. In Ghana for 6 months. She's helping the Ghanaian children with English and maths. And she's also helping the school build a library. Excellent. So now, we are going to read the text again and find out if these sentences are true or false. Are the sentences true or false? Now, number one, Lauren doesn't want to study maths at university next year. Lauren doesn't want to study maths at university next year. Two, she's helping Ghanaian children with their maths. Three, she's learning about herself. Lots of young people are doing a similar thing to Lauren. Five, when students take a gap year, it's not good for their studies. So, just to help you remember about Lauren Clark, so let's read the text one more time. 18-year-old Lauren Clark is a student, but she isn't at university yet. Instead, she's taking a gap year. She's taking a year off. I decided not to start my maths course immediately. Instead, I'm here in Ghana for 6 months. So, what is she going to do next year? What is she going to do next year? Is she going to study maths? No, because she's in Ghana for 6 months. So she has postponed, she has taken a gap year and she has postponed her registration at the maths university, Now, Lauren doesn't want to study maths at university next year. This one is false. She wants to study maths at university after she returns home from Ghana, because we said that she's in Ghana for only 6 months. So she's planning upon return to England to resume her studies at the university. So, number one is false. Two, she's helping Ghanaian children with their maths. She's helping Ghanaian children with their maths. This one is true. She's not just helping them with maths, but she's also helping them with English, and she's also helping the school with building the school library. Now, three, she's learning about herself. Oh yes, she's growing up. She's learning about herself. And in the text, now, she talks about discovering some qualities in her she didn't know before. Let's find out in the text. I'm teaching English and maths to school children in Ghana. I'm also helping to build the school library. I'm so surprised. I can actually do all of this. I'm developing qualities I didn't know I had. I'm more patient and polite. And I'm certainly not lazy. Here, I feel more responsible and I think I'm growing up. Oh yeah, she is learning about herself. So you see how wonderful for students to travel and do some voluntary work, to do something elsewhere, overseas, in another country. Now, four, lots of young students are doing a similar thing to Lauren. Lots of young people in the United Kingdom and Europe are doing the same thing. The same thing, what thing? Taking a year out before joining the university. A lot of young people. This one is true. It's true. Let's find it in the text. In Europe, taking a gap year is very common. In Europe, so it's not just the UK, taking a gap year is very common. Instead of going straight to colleges and universities after school, more and more students take a year off to travel, work, explore special interests, or volunteer. So this sentence is true. 5, when students take a gap year, it's not good for their studies. It's not good for their studies. It's not good for their studies results, for their courses results, if they take a gap year. What do you think? Let's find out. Now, this is Dr. Edwin Chance. And who is Dr. Edwin Chance? He's the rector, he is the chancellor of York University. Now, listen to what he says. Colleges and universities find that students who made this choice, the choice of taking a gap year, the choice of traveling somewhere, are more confident and mature when they arrive, so they do better on their courses. They obtain better results. Said Dr. Edwin Chance, rector of York University. Now, we are going to listen to 3 teenagers who are having a gap year. 3 students, 3 teenagers, 3 adolescents are taking a gap year abroad, outside the UK. And we'll try to complete the sentences. So we're going to write D for Daniel, C for Christine, and T for Thomas. So we've got Daniel, Christine, and Thomas. So we're going to find out 1, 2, 3, 1 through 7. We're going to find out which of the teenagers, the 3 teenagers, is learning a new language. Which one loves his or her student? Which one is taking care of people who are ill? Which one is living with relatives? Which one is working in his or her hometown? Which one is helping to build something? And which one is teaching a language? So we've got Danielle, Christine, and Thomas. So let's have a listen.
Listening 3. Daniel.
I'm having an amazing time here in the Brazilian rainforest. We arrived from Macapá 2 weeks ago. There are 10 students and we are staying with families in the village. We're helping to build a new school and we're trying to study Portuguese, but it isn't easy.
Okay. Now,
I'm here in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm staying with my aunt and uncle. I'm working at a school in one of the townships outside the city. I teach English to young children. They are very poor, but they are always laughing. It's hard work, but the children
Thomas.
Thomas.
I live in London and I'm working in an old people's home in the city centre. There are 50 people living here. Some of them are quite sick. I help them read their letters, books and newspapers. I also help at mealtimes and take people out for walks. It's hard work but very rewarding.
Excellent. Now, let's listen again and try to listen to each student at a time.
Listening 3. Daniel.
I'm having an amazing time here in the Brazilian rainforest.
So where is Daniel? He is in the Brazilian rainforest and he's having a good time.
We arrived from Macapá 2 weeks ago. There are 10 students and we are staying with families in the village. We're helping to build a new school and we're trying to study Portuguese.
Excellent. So Daniel is helping to build a new school and is trying to learn Portuguese. So he's learning a new language, that's Daniel. So what language is he learning in Brazil? He's learning Portuguese. So what else is he doing? He's also helping to build a school, Daniel. So for Daniel, we've got 1 and 6. Daniel is learning a new language and Daniel is helping to build a school in Brazil, in the Amazon forest, in the rainforest. Excellent. Now, Christine.
But it isn't easy.
Christine.
I'm here in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm staying with my aunt and uncle. I'm working at a school in one of the townships outside the city. I teach English to young children. They are very poor, but they are always laughing. It's hard work, but the children are wonderful.
The children are wonderful. So where is Christine? Christine is in South Africa, is in Cape Town, South Africa. What is she doing? She's teaching poor kids in South Africa. They are very poor, teaching them English. So Christine said, I'm living with my uncle and aunt. So that's 4C. Christine is living with relatives. And she ended her talk with the students, the children are wonderful. The children are wonderful. So Christine, C, loves her students. She loves them. She said they are very poor, but I love them. Excellent. Now Thomas.
Thomas.
I live in London and I'm working in an old people's home in the city centre. There are 50 people living here. Some of them are quite sick. I help them read their letters, books and newspapers. I also help at mealtimes and take people out for walks. It's hard work, but very rewarding.
Very rewarding. So that's Thomas. So Thomas is from London. And he's not somewhere. He works in London. He's doing something in his hometown. So Thomas is working in his hometown. So what exactly is Thomas doing? Thomas is helping people who are ill, the elderly and people who are ill in London. So what is he doing? He is taking care of them. How is he taking care of them? He is walking them, helping them do the things, and reading their letters. Excellent. So he's learning new language is Daniel. Loves her students is Christine. Is taking care of people who are ill is Thomas. Is living with relatives is Christine. Is working in his hometown is Thomas. And is helping to build something. That's Daniel, the one who is in Brazil. And is teaching a language. Now that's Christine. Now the teacher of South Africa. Excellent. Now I want you to think about this. I want you to think carefully about this. Now imagine you are going on a gap year. Imagine you are going to pause and take a year before going to university. Upon completion of your high school and going to university, you have some money and you want to take a gap year and travel somewhere to do something. So which country would you like to go to? Which country would you like to go to? So you can start your idea. You can start your thought with, I would like to go to Namibia. I'd like to go to Morocco. Excellent. Now, what would you like to do there? I'd like to help poor children, for example, with the maths. Or I'd like to help build a school, a mosque, or a library. So think about it. Think of some ideas and take time to write 2 or 3 sentences here, 2 or 3 sentences here about which country would you like to go to and what activities or what do you want to do there. Excellent. Now we are going to talk grammar. Now we are going to do some grammar. And in grammar, we are going to talk about comparison. We're going to talk about comparison. So in comparison, by the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to make comparisons. We're going to make comparisons. So first, we're going to talk about, I've got here a small text in which we are going to identify the different comparison or comparative structures that we are going to learn and study. So, we've got a photo here. We've got a teenager, a student just like you. What do you think she's doing? She's working on her computer and she's in her bag. So, she is communicating, she's chatting, she's talking to her friends. She's talking to her friends. And when you use the computer or your phone, your smartphone, if you want to chat with your friends, what do you use? Most of teenagers use a social network. A social network like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Now, or Twitter. Now, staying in touch. Staying in touch. Staying in touch. So staying in touch means keeping contact with friends, with relatives, friends, via social media like Facebook or Twitter. Now, let's try to read this text. Modern life is getting busier and busier. Modern life is getting busier and busier. So, you're familiar with this form, ER. So, this is the comparative form because actually the adjective is busy, adjective busy. Now, busier and busier. So, this is the comparative form. And the busier it gets, the more isolated people can feel. And that's right. So, very busy people, they have no time to socialize, they have no time to chat or to communicate with their friends and relatives. Now, these days, people have fewer opportunities, fewer chances to meet friends. And that's right. So, the busier we get, the less time we have to communicate and chat with our friends or to see our friends. So, fewer opportunities to meet friends because they work harder and have less time to socialize. Now, some say that social networking sites like Facebook or Twitter allow them to stay in touch with friends more easily. Sue Weeks, that's the girl, Sue Weeks decided to test this theory. Now, she stayed in for a week and only contacted her friends via Facebook. Now, Facebook is one of the most popular social networking sites. Now, what's her view? What's her opinion? What's her outcome? It was great for staying in touch with friends I don't see very often or who live far away, but it wasn't the most exciting week I've ever had. The least appealing, the least rewarding aspect for Sue was not seeing the people she gets on with best. Close friends. So her final verdict, it was more fun than I expected, but less satisfying than meeting people face to face. So, which is better? Chatting with friends on a social network or socializing with people face to face? So she found out that more and more teenagers and adolescents are using social network, but there's no better than meeting, interacting, and talking and chatting with friends face to face. So she said that was not the most rewarding week I've ever had. Excellent. Now, I want you to ask yourselves this question. Do you use social networking sites to contact friends? Why? Why not? Do you agree with Sue's opinions? Do you agree with her? And I know all of you use the social networking sites to interact, to chat with friends. But think about it. Is it like meeting people, talking with your friends face to face? I don't think so. Excellent. Now, in the text we've got some structures. Now remember, we're talking about comparison, comparative. And in comparison, we are going to deal not just adjectives, but we are also going to talk about adverbs, adjectives and adverbs. Adjectives, adverbs. And adverbs. So, what do adjectives do and what do adverbs do? So, adjectives usually come before nouns. They usually come before nouns. And what's their function? What do? They describe nouns. They describe nouns. Now, for example, when we say an intelligent student. So, where's the adjective? The adjective is intelligent. So, what is its position? Now, intelligent, the adjective intelligent comes before the noun student. What does it do to the noun? It describes the noun. Now, how about the adverbs? And to help you remember the adverbs are the words that 99% are formed with the ly, are formed with the ly. Adverbs. Adverbs generally come after verbs. They come after verbs. After verbs. After verbs. Now, what do they do? What do they do, adverbs? They describe the verb or they describe the action. Describe the action. Excellent. So, for my example, Walid is an intelligent student. Walid is an intelligent student. Intelligent adjective, student noun. So intelligent comes, the adjective comes before student, before the noun. It describes the noun. But if I want to form the adverb of the adjective intelligent, Walid always answers my questions intelligently. How does Walid answer my questions? He always answers intelligently. And intelligently is the adverb of the adjective intelligent. So most of the adverbs are formed with the ly, the extra letters ly, like beautiful, beautifully, logical, logically, intelligent, intelligently. Excellent. But there are exceptions. There are exceptions. So, there are exceptions. We're going to find out these exceptions. We're going to learn about these exceptions. Now, comparative and superlative adverbs. I'm not talking here about adjectives. I'm talking about adverbs. I'm not talking about adjectives. Now, we usually form comparative and superlative adverbs with more and most. That's right. More for the comparative form and most for the superlative form. However, we add er and est to some adverbs. We add er and est to some adverbs. Now, you have been studying English in middle school and you know when do we need that er for comparative and est for superlative, and when we need more and most. You know, long adjective, short adjective. Long adjective, short adjective. Or long adverb or short adverb. It's a question of number of syllables. It's a question of how long is the word. Either it's an adjective or an adverb. Now, look at this. Please speak more slowly. Please speak more slowly. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Look at slowly. Is it an adjective or an adverb? It's an adverb. Li. The adjective is slow. Now, what's the trick between the adverbs and the adjectives? The adverbs tend to be longer than the adjectives. Why? Because we have added ly to the adjective. Now, the adjective is slow, so we should say, if we are using an adjective, we should say slower. We should use the er. Slow. And slow has got only one syllable, slow. But if we make it an adverb, we have to add the ly. So, consequently, we've got two syllables. So, slowly is the adverb. Now, let's go back to the definition. Adverbs come after verbs. What do? They describe the action. Please speak more slowly. Now, slowly, this adverb explains the verb. How to speak slowly? So, this one is an adverb. Tom works harder than Sam. Harder. Now, look at hard. harder, hard. So here, hard comes after the verb. So this hard, be careful, it's not the adjective. It's not an adjective, it's an adverb. Because the exception with hard, it doesn't change. Hard can be adjective and hard can be an adverb. So be careful. If it comes before a noun, it's an adjective. If it comes after a verb, it's an adverb. Tom works harder than Sam. Harder is an adverb. Now, less and least. Less is the opposite of more. So, more, less. More, opposite of less, is the opposite. Now, least in superlative form is the opposite of most, superlative. So, we can use them with adjectives, adverbs, and uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns or non-count. Now listen to this. My dad bought the least expensive TV in the shop. The least expensive TV. So we said least, superlative. It's the opposite of most. Now, who earns less money? Who earns less money? And money is an uncountable noun, money. Teachers or nurses? Who earns less money? Teachers or nurses? Okay, let's stop here. So we'll resume later in my next video. Thank you so much.